Welcome, Global Ghost Hunt fam. We are here live. I'm your host, Haley Overseth of Frankie's Podcast Network, and we are here with Matt, paranormal consultant, our good friend of the globalghosthunt.com and our friendly neighborhood podcast, not just podcast host, but also podcast creator of content, promos, and all kinds of good stuff for the Global Ghost Hunt fam. How you doing? Hello, welcome.
What's up, everybody? You make it sound so professional.
Well, listen, this is the thing. When you do a whole bunch of it, you get used to like rattling off the stuff. You got to be good at that marketing and promos. Speaking of up top, we want to thank our sponsor, Health Empowers You. Y'all got to head on over to healthempowersyou.net. Check out, you can get your own PDF of over 200 smoothie recipes. I got one. Listen, y'all, use the Global Ghost Hunt promo code GGH25. You get 25% off, and it comes out to be like $4.50. For this PDF of some awesome smoothie recipes for your breakfast, for your weight loss, for your immunity boost, for your cognitive functioning, for your just tastification that you enjoy. Hooray. Go check them out. There we are. See, there we are again. Look at me just rolling right into the sponsors and giving them some good love, right?
It's almost natural when you start doing it. It sounds scripted, folks, but it really isn't.
It really isn't. I just spew this information out. That's what I do. Matt, I'm so excited I get to sit here and chat with you because, up until now, you've done a lot of more of the sort of, obviously, the technical work, the production work. You and Brian John is what I always have to talk to you about. But now I want to get to know Matt, paranormal consultant. I want to start with, what are your favorites in the paranormal world? What are your favorite elements of it?
Honestly, originally it was just the mystery of it. And I think that kind of lures us all in at first is, you know, what happens after death. But, since I started working with Parapost, Global Ghost Hunt, doing these podcasts, really it's the community. The community really, motivates me. And, it has to be my favorite because, and as you know, Haley, I've taken a little bit of, that's why right there.
Yeah, that's why right there. There's our community. How you doing, Aaron? Appreciate you and all your promo help too. Hey. But no, I dig it. Yeah. You're great. It's such a great group of folks and we all have so much fun together. And it's a good time to be able. It's nice to have a group of weirdos to be weird with.
100%, 100%. And you know, I mean, as you know, Haley, I'm pretty sure you know, and I know Mr. Backstage, I know he knows. I took a sabbatical a little bit ago, and you know, it's the community that brought me back. You know, people checking in, making sure I'm okay, you know, and then just all the support that we've gotten, not just for myself, but for Global Ghost Hunt, for Parapost, you know, and you miss it. And it's like a piece of you is missing. So that has to be my favorite. Has to be.
Oh, we're so happy to be your favorites. We're so glad that you came back to hang out with us some more. I love it. You know, I do dig that mystery element too, though, right? Because that is such a big part of it. It's the what's out there. What could I find, right? And I don't know about, like, maybe talk to me a little bit about this, because I know for myself, like when I was a kid, it started with like the ghost element, right? Like it, and obviously that's sort of what happens, you know, after you die, or what else is out there that I'm not seeing that could go thump in the night, right? But then the paranormal starts to evolve for you and starts to incorporate things like cryptids and UFOs and other sort of like interdimensional parallel reality weirdness, right? Which is, again, such a fun thing about this community, because there's so many people with so many different interests that you can like put under the paranormal umbrella, right? That are so much more, you know, and we've talked about it before, like so much more widely talked about now and acceptable to talk about, which is really exciting. So like tell me about like your evolution with kind of the different aspects, I guess, of paranormal interest.
So mine again started just like most people, just the spiritual side of it with the ghosts and, you know, those who pass on, and, you know, what could be going bump in the night. And being from Central PA, a lot of the paranormal is like low key, you don't talk about, but we did have our urban legends, you know, Bigfoot, stuff like that. And
do you get some Bigfoot sightings up in the Pennsylvania area?
You hear about them, but it's not like mainstream. It's not like, hey, you got to go check this out. We get those like stereotypical urban legends. Like we have one we call Wolfman or Wolfies.
Okay.
You know, we have stuff like that. But as far as like the Bigfoots and stuff, like you don't really broadcast that out. Like the paranormal or anything in the cryptid side, it's not really broadcasted. And you know, until I met the Wicked Queen, for me, it was mainly just the spirits and a little bit of the extraterrestrials. And I really didn't get too much into it, but she's really into the cryptid stuff. So that's where I really started diving in about 9 years ago. And I don't know, I've always had that fascination because, I mean, we only know so much about where we live as far as the earth itself.
Right.
I mean, even the oceans, we only know, I think, 10%.
I've said this before, that like there are aliens in our oceans, and they're just animals that we don't understand yet because we haven't found them. We're not in there. There's
100%.
weird stuff in there. Our own planet is full of things that are alien to us.
Well, I mean, if you walk down any college street, you'll.
There's also that, right? Listen, hey, we were all there once. We all, again, you got to be in your pool of weird. That's what it is.
100%. But I mean, as far as like the extraterrestrials and stuff, I mean, to me, I try to be, even though you guys see like the consultant goopy fun side, I try to be logical when it comes to my approach with, you know, the paranormal. And for me, there are literally billions and billions of galaxies with billions and billions of stars with billions and billions of planets. Oh, there you go. Walmart, Aaron. Aaron's got it right. Walmart's the proof. There's the extraterrestrial.
Like, right? Woo, yeah. I mean, let me tell you what. If that's not, I don't know what is. Fair point to you, Aaron.
Right. But there are all these billions of planets and galaxies and all this stuff out there. And for me, how egotistical is it for us to say that we are the only intelligent life? I use that.
Absolutely right. I mean, there are advanced civilizations well beyond where we're at. We are just a seedling community.
I think we're like the backwoods banjo, like hillbilly. That's us, folks. I don't care how smart you are. I
agree. No, and I think that's such a funny thing. And I think about that sometimes. Like, we have to, like, Earth as the, like, you know, entity in the galactic whatever, in the giant universe, like other intelligent civilizations, we probably are the like weird reality show they watch, like look at what these
South Park.
Yeah. Can you believe what these earthlings are getting up to right now? This is ridiculous. Have you guys seen what they're doing? I mean, I feel that
100%.
our intelligence is debatable, and I bet they debate it. Like, can you imagine? Like, wouldn't that be fun? We need to do that. We need to do a pretend alien show where we just act like the aliens looking at like news bits from Earth just around the world and be like, have you seen what they're doing on that planet right now? Like, I love it that they would debate. And then you would have like, the aliens that are like, oh, come on, you guys, the humans aren't so bad. They're trying real hard. Like you'd have like the panel of people arguing.
Universe Got Talent. No. See, you don't ever give me ideas, Haley. Don't ever give me ideas.
No, the Universe Has Got Talent is brilliant, and we need to start that right now. Oh my God, are you kidding?
Brian, I think we'll have a new show on Parapost here very shortly.
I think we need to. This needs to get started. I love this. The Universe Has Got Talent. I like it. And just bring on Earthlings doing the dumbest, like, let's bring on somebody. I mean, what would we do? The Universe Has Got Talent. Please tell me somewhere in the Parapost community, there has to be several taxidermists. Come and talk to me about taxidermy like I'm an alien. Like, you stuff dead living things and you keep them and you put them on the wall as decoration. That's really weird.
Oh, even just some of the comments, like I don't want to get into it, but like political side of it, the religious side of it, like there's so many different things that we could get into. And thinking of it from an outside perspective, these aliens have, if they are watching us, like Men in Black type stuff, if they're watching us, they have to be going, what is wrong with you people?
What are you doing? You guys are fighting with each other and you're the same animal. Like, it's the dumbest thing. Why are you doing that? I think this would be great. I think just like random news stories from throughout the globe, right? Like Brian picks them out and then just reads that we have like a panel of like 3 or 4 of us and we act as the aliens, right? And we tell us the stories and we will react to it and tell you what we think from, wow, you guys have nuclear waste on your planet that you're just putting in your oceans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Or here you go. You're trying to save the planet, plant trees, but you want to raise dead money for, that use dead trees to recycle. It's like
you keep killing the things that make your air to make dollars. When you don't need to do that. But
you're trying to save it. You're trying to get the dead tree money.
Yeah.
To plant more trees.
Just leave them. It's all digital anyway. It's all a video game that's numbers on a screen that doesn't even make any sense anymore. That's all it is. You log on and it's money on a screen. It's not even physical money anymore.
No. But yeah, no, I think this could happen. This could definitely happen.
I think we need to do this because wouldn't you also love to have a conversation about in the paranormal? Even this would be great actually, because you wouldn't just do aliens. You could also do ghosts, right? So like then you have the ghosts who are like, you guys have done what since I died? Excuse me. Like I remember when I had to crank my cars. You guys got these weird Tesla things that are, what is that?
Or here in the U.S., get the founding fathers.
Yeah, get the founding fathers. Have them be like, you guys have done nothing with the system we set up for you. You have used this to just stop doing anything. That is amazing.
You did what to our Constitution?
We're not like, oh my God. And then, but listen, no, because you also got to have the cryptids, right? Like the cryptids got to come into it. You got to have like Bigfoot, Mothman. You got to have somebody be Nessie. I will like, I can see any kind of sea serpent right here.
I could see like Bigfoot going, and you wonder why I hide.
And you wonder why I don't show up for you guys. Like, I want to come out and party with you people. I tell you what. Who's going to be the Simon Cowell of the Universe Has Got Talent? That's a fabulous.
What? Brian.
Brian is officially been named the Simon Cowell of the Universe Has Got Talent. I love it. That's spectacular. The Universe Has Got Talent, has got news, has got weirdness, and let's just see. That would be great. You know what? That would be like, it would be a dual thing. So you start with the Universe Has Got Talent. You got like Bigfoot, an alien, and a ghost, right? And they all do their whatever your talent is. Stupid human talent. I knit, crochet, and dye yarn. I can knit something or whatever, and just that's my silly talent. But then you all talk about some news stories and react to them as like, you know, again, the Loch Ness Monster being like, are you guys trying to create more of me by dumping waste into your ocean water?
Like, I started glowing.
Yeah, right? Do you want Godzilla to come up out of the ocean? Are we trying to do that for reals?
Newsflash, the Godzilla movies are actually documentaries.
No, actually it's a documentary series. It's happening in a parallel timeline right now where you guys just don't understand how badly you've messed this up.
You know what? I can honestly say, like, I work with the public, and I have for a long time, but I can already see if you told somebody that, you know, movies like Godzilla and all these other ones are legit, like there's actually a documentary, they believe it.
Right,
like, they would 100% believe it.
What a fun experiment we could do in the paranormal community, right? Like, folks, we have now tunneled to a parallel timeline where we have found that Godzilla is actually happening right now in another dimension. And it is actually interfering with, that's what interfered with the Schumann resonance of the planet last June. Actually, that's what happened, is that in another parallel dimension of Earth very close to us, they accidentally raised Godzilla, and that messed up our Schumann resonance of our planet. There you go. Oops. It's like somebody forgot to set the timer in the oven for too long.
What's that smell? Oh yeah, by the way.
What's that smell? It's Godzilla.
Oh man.
Oh, I love this already. So good. I love it. So tell me more. Like, let's get into cryptids, because that's one of my favorites. Tell me about some of your favorite stuff in the cryptid world.
So I have to say, like, again, I try to be logical with everything. I mean, Bigfoot
comes down to the wow factor at the end of the day. That's true.
That's why I have the shirt at the end of the day. But I love Bigfoot. It's classic. There's so many sightings, you know, whether they're faked or not. It's just mainstream. It's awesome.
Can we talk a little bit about that in the Bigfoot world for just a hot second? What happened?
Brian, stop it. No.
We will.
You knew what you were getting into when I was invited.
You're gonna put Frankie and Matt together on screen and think we're not gonna cause trouble when Aaron is in the comments. Please and thank you. You should know what's coming to you.
Wait till Raymond shows up.
Oh, Raymond, come in and party too. Raymond can be one of our panel judges too. We've got Brian John is gonna be Simon Cowell, and then Raymond and Aaron can also be judges. And then we need to have Glenda come on and be a judge, right? Yeah. Of the Universe's Got Talent. I love this already.
I'll host it. You can be on the panel.
I will be one of the aliens, and I will do something like that's what we'll do.
We got a new show now.
We got a new show. We're just so brilliant. I love it. So like Bigfoot. Here's the thing I love about Bigfoots and like Yetis and all those other kind of things. We've got, hey, what's up?
Jonathan Myers, my brother.
Hey, you doing? Like, I love that about the Bigfoot sort of phenomenon in general, that there are so many sightings throughout the world. And even the things like what you talk about in Pennsylvania, like Wolfman, right? Like, it's kind of a similar concept. And that's the thing to me that like makes it sort of like a corroborative evidence, if I could say that right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I got you.
You know, there's Yetis in Russia, or they have like different kinds of like big hairy men in, I think even Australia, and like definitely in some African countries. And
Abominable Snowman.
Right, exactly.
Yep. You know, I get where you're going with it, and you're 100% right. Like, you can't have all these different rumors and all these little, you know, things and have it just be coincidence.
Right.
There has to be some truth
across cultures. There has to be some truth to it, right? Especially when it's across cultures and in locations where it's kind of that idea of, you know, like cave paintings on different locations throughout the world have similar themes, right? Like, well, if there's not some connection, or if they're not actually tapping into some altered state of consciousness, some other parallel realm, why do they all seem so similar? Like, why? Like, it can't be a coincidence.
Well, the Mayans and the Incans, they have ties with the Egyptians. You know,
right.
It's all over. I mean, even in Australia, you're talking about Australia, they have different relics and sites that mimic Mayan culture and Aztec culture.
And some of that, I think, haven't they recently in the last maybe 10 years or so discovered like some DNA lines, I believe, that are like Australasian, like from Australia, but that they've discovered them in the American Southwest.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
And saying that like previously archaeology said, no, they didn't travel. They couldn't do that. And it's like, well, then how did this DNA line that's supposed to only be over in Australia get over to the American Southwest? And you also find it in South America and in those like ancient, like you're saying, Aztec and other cultures. It's like, the things that we think are so correct about our history are not quite so correct. And it's again that mystery element, right? Like,
well, and now it's being widely accepted that the up in the Bering Strait area, like up in Alaska and Russia, that actually was legit land. It was a landmass that connected the two continents. So the theory now is they started out in the Asias and the Europe area, and they migrated across that bridge, the landmass, and they came down to the Americas. And it makes sense.
It does, because the other thing is too that like not just that there was that landmass there, but during the end of the last ice age, when they thought that there couldn't have been other human civilizations, right? Like that there was a massive ice sheet there too, that like they could have easily crossed that ice sheet and like been moving from that colder and that landmass to like migrate towards warmer temperatures, right? And that's where they came over, because they're on that huge ice sheet, right? It's not any different than kind of the tundra that we have now, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, look at Ice Road Truckers, a very popular show.
Ice Road Truckers, good stuff. I never would want to do it myself. I live in South Dakota and I know what that's like. Please and thank you. I don't want it. No, I agree with that 100%. But sorry, I got derailed us from Bigfoot. So let's get back to the cryptid. We'll go back to the cryptid situation.
Sorry, the Wicked Queen just popped in the studio.
Oh, hello. Hello, how's it going? Say hello to you. Talk to us. Well, you know what? Talk to us a little bit about, because you mentioned the Wiccan Queen up top. Like, give us a little bit more. Talk to us about the how would I say it? Sort of how has that meeting, because you kind of mentioned it a little bit, affected your perceptions of the paranormal, or what new sort of ideas have come about?
So, being in the I ran 3 separate teams before. And during this last team I was running, I practice and study different religious backgrounds, whether it's Christianity, Buddhism, Taoism, whatever. And I dabbled a little bit in the Wicca cultures and pagan cultures. And when I met her, not wrong, Brian.
Whatever. Come on, Matt and perception don't mix. Let's get both of you on here so we can fight it out.
Oh, we'll have our time.
You'll have your time.
But when I actually met her, she was on another team. They asked me to help train them, and my team and I went out and we were training, whatever. And she hated me. She will be happy to say at first she hated me.
I love it. Don't all brilliant love stories start with hate? I like it already. That's spectacular.
Yeah, so she absolutely hated me. So we were in the cemetery. She absolutely hated me. We were on an investigation. Came to find out that she's Wiccan. So we started talking a little bit. And thanks to her best friend, we started hanging out more. And she started opening me up to a little bit more of the Wicca side of it that I was having a hard time trying to figure out. So she's really opened me up to that. And, when the consultancy started, I wanted to have a really good, solid background to help people. And so she actually deals with all the cryptid side of it. She does that. That's her forte. That's what she loves.
I dig it. I'm about it. I'm for it.
So I deal with all the spirits and the things I know, and she does the Wicca and the cryptid side of it.
Well, but that's really great though, because that means that you have like different knowledge bases that you can bring together, and then you do have the ability to talk about different things, come up with different perspectives of, you have a different background and a different way of maybe perceiving or considering, from a paranormal investigation on a spiritual side, right? Like if you were to go cryptid hunting with her, like you're going to have a different like method or approach, right? That might be useful though, even though because you come from a different background and vice versa, right? Yep. And I love that too. Like again, it's that community idea of when you get those different elements together, you can start seeing some of like those overlaps, right? The things that are like not coincidence. It's like, you know, in the spiritual world and in the, you know, cryptid world, UFO world, it's kind of that same idea of like there's concepts and things that overlap in the stories you get and in things that you investigate.
Yeah, and you know what I really love that really brings both the cryptid and the paranormal communities together is we all have theories and they're all right. They're all 100% right. It's because they can't be disproved.
Well, and because the universe is infinite. And so on some timeline, everything is true. Which timeline are you on? Are you on a timeline where you saw Bigfoot? Well, then you did see Bigfoot because there's a Bigfoot. I love it. That's definitely where I'm at with a lot of that stuff too. Thanks, Aaron, for joining us.
Much love, brother.
Much love to you. Thanks for joining. No, but I do really love that. That is one of the things. So what are some of your other favorite cryptids though? So we've got Bigfoot, and I'm with you. Big love for Bigfoot because again, all over the planet, all kinds of sightings. What are some of your other faves?
Fays and sprites or fairies, for those of you playing the home game.
The home game. I go for kind of the elemental, right? Like, because you can kind of group all of them in there. You know, you got the different. I love it. Tell me about some of your favorites in that realm because fairies and I love me some elemental energy.
So we've all been in this situation, I think at least once, where you're either on a walk, on a hike somewhere out in the woods, or you're fishing or boating or whatever. And all of a sudden you just get this overwhelming energy feel, like this heavy feel. And you start hearing things and seeing things that just don't seem the norm. And, you know, they're very elusive. And I know there's a lot of videos out there that show proof of these phases. But to me, it's just like any other cryptid. If they want to be seen, they will be seen. If they don't, they don't. But to me, it's another one of those. There has to, if they're humanoid, we'll just say this: if they're humanoid, is that another evolution of our species, or are they another cousin? You know, like they say. Apes.
I love this because this is a thing that I think even with Bigfoot, right? Like, and because this is something that is a theory, a thing in the multiverse that exists. That the idea that like Bigfoot is a different evolutionary line of humans. So like it kind of like missing link sort of thing, right? Like that they just developed in a different like parallel timeline, but they are like much closer to nature and to elemental energy. So it's easier for them to kind of blip in and out of our reality because they have that more sort of fluid flow with nature that we in our sort of like human intelligence again, right, have separated ourselves from a lot, which is kind of, I think, interesting when you think about like elementals and the fae, right? That is when that happens, is when you're out in nature and you are isolated from like, you know, the cell phones and the electronics and things like that and other people and other noise. And you get to that quiet space, that's when you can tune into that energy.
Well, and there's a theory running around right now, and I haven't been following it real close, but this theory seems to hold, hey, Banshee.
Hey.
This holds a little bit of water, no pun intended for me.
I love it.
But monks, these Shaolin monks and all these monks out in the Asias, they have the ability to use their energy to light fires, to produce, you know, different air pockets. So if a human is able to generate that, these fays are the actual element. And the show and the movie Airbender is based off of fays. All the elements, they're actually fays, they're fairies.
I love this. There's a whole conversation we need to delve into of this here. So like we got to hit a commercial. I know Brian John's back there rocking and rolling, right? Brian John, ready to run a commercial for us. But like, I want to get into this conversation. But And we're back live with our friend Matt, paranormal consultant. I need us to get back into the elemental conversation because it's one of my faves. I tell you what, that's like, I'm going to show you like way up top there. I just drew this stone back here. So I've been tuning into this like crystalline energy when I go like hang out at the river and stuff. Sorry, there we go. I bet I'm driving Brian John nuts moving my computer like that. I bet he's losing his mind back there. Just a little bit. That's all right. But it's like that sort of that heavy energy that you're talking about, right? Like, so talk to me a little bit about and I love that because I know what you're talking about. I've seen some of these different documentaries and things of these, you know, these monks and these people who study energy work and consciousness, and they tune into whatever that is, right? That elemental energy. And like you're saying, they can start fires. They can like create sort of like an energy wave around them that affects the people around them, right? Like, talk at me about this because I love it.
So the theory is obviously these fays are obviously just pure energy. They just are a different type of being, a cousin, if you will, of ours. And obviously during the evolutionary cycle, we've evolved and in a sense devolved. You know, like they say, we have a tailbone because humans used to have a tail, apparently. You know, so who's to say that we didn't have wings? Who we didn't have, you know, all these.
So fun sidebar, like the Jersey Devil, I have like there's a theory that I love that the Jersey Devil lore comes from a time when like there would have been like a kid that was born with a vestigial tail, and that like this sort of legend spurred from that because it's just like things that like people didn't understand at the time, that it was like a remnant of old DNA that would happen. Right? Like they just didn't have the scientific understanding to know what it was and created this legend out of it. Right?
Well, I mean, there's been a couple of bursts to where people have, you know, elongated tailbones and it looks just like tails, and people, you know, are able to even wag them. I've seen videos of that stuff.
Like that's wild.
So, you know, and plus on top of that, you know, giants and stuff like that, we found proof. We found proof that stuff like that used to exist. And
I mean, they have those giant skeletons and the giant skulls.
And we found skeletal remains of little tiny people. We found them. And, you know, just like with a lot of other things with Bigfoot and other cryptids, you have a long history. And I'm not just talking 100 years. I'm talking hundreds, thousands of years of these sightings and the reports of it. They have to generate from somewhere. People just don't sit here and just go, oh, by the way, I'm just going to create a story about the flying person. You know,
well, this is something that's interesting to me too when it comes to like the elemental energy, right? Because I like what you're talking about, that they are cousins of us, and you have like, yeah, it's true, because like our bodies are mostly water, right? Like we use air and like that's part of our respiratory system. It's like these elements are all part of us. We're just a much more like dense, solidified sort of incarnation of it, right? But these elements that are water, air, fire, earth, they're like, my kind of theory or sense of them is that they're less sort of, they're more fluid in their existence, right? Like you're saying, like they are that energy. And so they can appear as a Bigfoot, as a fairy, as a giant, right? But it's kind of like, I get like, it's a shapeshifter sort of situation almost, right? You know what I'm saying?
100%. And even in the Wicca community, they talk about different elements. Each witch has their own element. And there's been a couple of movies where it shows like they, just like an airbender, they set out all the elements and, you know, a witch is drawn to one. That's somewhat what they do. I mean, you know, I've tried a couple times and I'm apparently a fire element, which is why I enjoy fire.
Hi, friend. What's your zodiac sign?
Leo.
That's why, because I'm Sagittarius, fire sign. I'm with it. Like we do like fire. I like
it's just something calming about fire. Dig
it.
But and the Wicked Queen, she's a water element, and she loves her water. But you know, and it, to me, it has to have some roots. We still have to have that curiosity. Let's, you know, and whether you believe in the paranormal or not, you know, it's scientific proof that we as humans, we're curious creatures. We're very curious. And to me, if you're drawn to something, there has to be a reason why you're drawn to it.
I agree.
And it makes sense. It makes sense that if we are these cousins of these spays and spirits, we're just drawn to our element. We're drawn to what naturally and genetically makes sense to us. We're going back to our primal instincts.
Well, and I think that is, yeah, that's definitely like a valuable perspective to add. Oh, yeah, Aquarius in the house. What's up?
I knew it, Banshee. I knew you were an Aquarius.
I love it. I love. So good. But yeah, it's, I think that it is a really interesting thing too, that kind of what you're talking about, that it's easy for the zodiac sign, whatever you are, for you to sort of attach to that energy. But like, you kind of have to do a little bit of energy work to attach to the other elementals, right? Like that's kind of where you have to like go out and be in nature and really tune in. And that's, I do love that idea too, like, because again, we're made up of the same stuff. So it's in our DNA too. So like they are related to us, right? Like we're made up of the same stuff. So you have to be tuning into something.
Well, I mean, it's just like when I go fishing. I do a lot of like wading out into the creeks and streams and stuff, and I feel at home. I feel relaxed when I'm in the middle of a creek or a river. That's that running water flowing through. I can feel the earth, the feeling of the gravel and everything. Like I'm at home. I feel happy. Or even when we go kayaking, just being in the middle of a lake, just relaxing. It's basic nature, primal instincts, and you're getting to your comfort. And if we have that curiosity, then to say that it's far-fetched that these fays, exist, I don't think it's that far of a stretch.
Well, it's kind of that same idea though of aliens in the ocean, right? Like it just because it's right under our nose and right here and is part of our planet and not necessarily out there in the stars doesn't mean that there's not all kinds of stuff right here under our nose that we don't understand, that we don't necessarily have, and here's another interesting thing. So I don't know, this is a fun little argument with me here that I've had with my sisters a couple of times. So there's an argument in the scientific community that says humans don't have the ability to sense wetness. Like, have you heard this?
I have. It goes along the lines with water isn't wet.
Right. But so there's different sort of sensory organs, right? That like, for example, a manatee has that we don't have, that allows a manatee to sense water or wetness differently than we do. And that's one of the things that I think is really interesting. So it's kind of the same idea of like, okay, well, if we can't sense wetness, whatever wetness means, right? Like, and we don't have those sensory receptors that these other animals in the ocean have. Well, there is a whole other aspect of reality that we are not experiencing because we don't have the sensory organ to experience it. What information is in there that we might not know about if we just don't have those sensory organs? There's a whole level of reality.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's
winter solstice, happy solstice.
It's just like if people are wondering what she's talking about, it's just like
my element is whiskey. I love it.
I feel that, Tanner. Here's the thing. It's just like when you get a cut, when you get a paper cut or something like that, you don't notice it if you're not paying attention. You don't notice you're bleeding until you look at it. Once you look at it and you see it, that's when you start feeling the pain. To me, wetness is kind of the same thing. You don't know the moisture's there until your brain connects the dots.
Right. Like it's again, so like this is such a like fascinating conversation to me too. The idea of like we are just a walking sensory organ, right? Like we as humans, our consciousness put in this meat suit that is just a bunch of sensory organs. But we obviously, so it's kind of like, think about like dogs, for example, right? Like how they can hear and smell things that we don't have the range to hear and smell. There's plenty of animals that have different ranges for like night vision, right? The things that we don't have the capacity to recognize because we just don't have that, sensory organ. Well, there's like, again, that's a whole parallel reality that we're not experiencing because we just don't have the ability to perceive it in the way that these other animals do. But that doesn't mean that there's not something else there. And that's, again, the interesting thing to me about like the idea of elementals. Well, they're going to have maybe a higher perspective than we do, right? So they have a different capacity to interact with us how would you say that? By choice, sort of?
I think it's more of a natural. It's a natural feeling. It's like us with breathing. We don't have to really think about it. We do it naturally, or blinking.
Right.
You know, we do it automatically. And I think it's kind of like an instinct with them. It's with anything, with any even animals. Like you
Mhm.
can't. And for those who are on the fence about this, it's been proven numerous times that when there's an earthquake or some kind of natural disaster, animals get the out. They
They do.
leave.
Because they know that it's coming. They sense whatever's coming. That's like if there's
Yep.
going to be a tsunami or whatever. Like if you see animals ditching from the beach, you better follow them because they know something's coming.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you know, the animals are all running for the hills. We're standing there with our phones going, "What's going on? This is pretty." You know what I
Right.
mean? Like we are the last to know, you know? So
Because we don't pay attention, and that's where we've conditioned ourselves, is into the not
exactly.
paying attention, right? And so that's where, you know, again, when it comes to like the global ghost hunt and these paranormal investigations people are doing, that's where I think there is, again, so much value, not just in the community. Like the community is great and it's fun and it's exciting and you are looking for evidence, quote unquote, but it's, again, going out and having that experience of something new and different and strange, right? And exploring these different things and getting to a quiet place where you can listen and sort of tune in energetically to these other, whether it's elementals or spirits, or again, like, you know, they're saying like extraterrestrials, whatever it is. It's like you have to be in a space where you can hear it. You have to be
Yeah.
able to like let go of all the noise we've created for ourselves, right? And go and be in these spaces where you have an opportunity to tune into the energies that are there.
Mhm. Well, and it's like the analogy I use on my shows, and I've been using this one for years, and I still think it holds true. The paranormal, whether it's what, you know, spiritual side of it or the cryptid side of it, it's one big jigsaw puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
Each and every person is our own piece, and until we all start working together and put all our pieces together, that's when we'll get the shut up, Raymond. We will get the
Lobster.
shut up, Raymond.
Is there an inside joke I need to know about? I love
about
this.
my sunburn.
Oh, oh, come on now. Let him be. Like, who doesn't just get a little bit of butter and slather it on there? You're good to go.
We were actually joking about that.
Just cover yourself in
Just
butter and it's
have the
you're
Wicked Queen put butter on me and go, I smell delicious.
there you
Um,
go.
but once we start putting all the pieces together, we start working together, that's when we're going to start realizing and figuring out what exactly is going on. Because what you perceive and what everybody else perceives is going to be completely different than what I see or what the Wicked Queen sees. And that's one thing I love about the Global Ghost Hunt and Parapost is because that's exactly what we're doing. And that's already been proven through the first 2 years. Like we have in October, we have the end of that'll be the 2 year mark. We've gone through 4 events, and it's so much fun to see how much everybody's grown. Like you get these teams like Rootless on, AZ Pie, knew some paranormal, maybe. No,
There's
but
a
you get
name
to
for that for the butter skin. I think there has to be.
there probably is, and I'm sure Raymond will find it, and I'll see
Find
it.
it. Just post it up in the comments. We want to see it. We love it.
But I love seeing the growth of everybody. For most people, I don't know if you guys are aware, but for the past 3 events, Brian and I have been pretty much backstage at every single investigation. We've been backstage watching, listening, and helping out, and just seeing the growth from these teams like AZ Pie. AZ Pie is a completely different team than when they first started. The confidence level that they have now is just amazing. Abyss Paranormal, Vicky, another great example of what this community is doing. And it's people like that who are going to really bring us together, and we're going to start finding answers. Now, will we do it in our lifetime? Probably not, because we got to get everybody on board. This jigsaw puzzle is huge, and you're only talking a corner.
Well, and it's it's that interconnectivity of everything, right? And we're starting to recognize that again as humans, that we are all connected, that it is all a part of the same energy and consciousness. And it's kind of a game of peeling back the layers and seeing that, like, once you get down to the center, we're all the same energy. We're just creating all these fun, different things. Hey, oh my God, you are the silliest. I love Kramer. That's magnificent. And
that
now
has to be for those of you wondering, that's Brian.
That's Brian, and that's
just,
Brian is just
Brian put that up. I know Brian put that up, and Brian, just don't forget, I get ideas. I have access to Canva.
And he can make up his own little thing too. Oh Lord, I can't wait to see what comes from this. Sneak something funny of Brian John in the next promo for the next episode, just for silly fun times.
There'll be another demon potato. That's all I gotta say. And for those of you who don't know, you don't want to know, but Brian knows about demon potato. So does Raymond.
I need to see demon potato. I don't know about anybody.
I'll fill you on demon potato after the show.
Oh, I love it. It's so good. So much fun. I love it.
You started something.
Oh, well, that's all right. That's totally fine. No, but I agree with what you're saying. This, I love that element of, it's like everyone coming together and trying to put together the pieces of this mystery so that we can like get back to more of that natural sort of, like you're saying, that natural instinct that we have to be a part of nature and to be a fluid part of what's happening and to notice and to interact with it. Right. And I think that's another thing too, that groups like, Parapost Network and Global Ghost Hunt, like those sort of communities are also building spaces where people are investigating out of curiosity and not out of like the sort of fearful element, right? And looking to really want to communicate and engage and participate with whatever energies and entities are out there. Right. And I think that's something that is really valuable to just the greater mainstream of like human consciousness and of society, to like see a very, supportive community that is out there exploring for, because it's fun, because it's enjoyable, and because there's something there. And there is.
100%. And you know what? I actually have a challenge for everybody who's listening in, whether you're listening now or after. If you want to kind of feel what we are talking about, here's a challenge for you. Go out to a local park, a creek, stream, whatever. You take a chair with you, a folding chair, and just sit there. Don't have your phone on. Don't put music on. Don't do anything. Just sit there. Just sit there and listen and observe. Close your eyes even. Mm-hmm. And just, you can start to feel it. Open yourself up to it. And it's actually a form of meditation. And you're grounding yourself. That's what you're doing.
Yes. And that is such a big, let me tell you what, that's something that I've been doing daily lately, is going down to the river to ground and just sitting there, just staring at the water, staring at the light on the water. Again, like that's that energy that like I had this dream about this crystalline rock, right? Like, and I've been able to like tune into that more and like, but I had that dream since going and spending that time doing that grounding. And it's such I do think it's really important because it gets you back in tune with those elements that are still natural parts of you. And it helps you to kind of get back into your own intuition. And I think that that's something that is so valuable in every aspect of your life, right? Like that intuitive nature that we have, right, is valuable, not just in paranormal investments, in your day-to-day life, in your day-to-day choices.
I do it every day. I go to work and I come home from work. I literally go to my work an hour before or even a half hour. And I will sit there and I will just forget about everything that's happened during the day. And I get myself ready for my job. And, when I leave, I do the same thing. I don't sit there for a half hour. I go home. I get to my location. I get to the destination and I just sit there. And I just, okay, job's done. I'm home now. Now I'm going to switch back. When I come into the studio to do videos for like Parapost, for the Global Ghost Hunt, for Paravid Studios, whatever I'm doing, I just sit here and I'll just relax and I just take my time and I switch it over. It's always a meditation, and it doesn't have to be like the whole own thing. No, you don't need to do all that. You just quiet yourself. You quiet yourself, you get yourself in that mindset, and you do what you got to do. You take care of business.
I really love that because I think that's something valuable too, that you have a lot of sort of, meditation having to look a certain way and you're supposed to empty your mind, right? And it's like, no, who can empty their mind in the world that we live in? That's not how we're built. It's just that, like you're saying, find the calm and the quiet You don't have to be like perfect Zen Buddhist, enlightened, levitating, whateverness, right?
Yo, if I could figure out how to levitate, I'm sharing that crap.
Oh, you'd better teach me if you figure that stuff out first. Don't you dare keep that secret to yourself.
Actually, funny story, Haley, you'll love this. So the Wicked Queen and I, we were watching a show. I forget what show it was. She has her earbuds in, so I don't know if she can hear me. But we were watching the show, and there was some kind of crime show or whatever. They break in, the cops come into this building, and there's a guy levitating about 5 feet off the air. And they're all just like, and there's like a little group around him and stuff. And these cultists look at the cops like, what are you doing here? And the cops are going, because there's a guy levitating. I looked at her and I said, what would you say if you were the cops? And she goes, teach me.
Yeah.
I said, me, not me. Uppies. I want uppies.
I want uppies. Oh, I love that. Just get listen. I don't know which would be more fun. Teach me or like go be the silly kid getting up in that person's face doing uppies.
Do both. I do uppies first, I think, and then I would say teach me.
I want to be there to see you say uppies first so that I can laugh hysterically and then join you. And then we can all, teach all of us. Let's all levitate and hang out together and be silly fun.
Could you imagine if you could actually like fly, like levitate, how much gas you would save?
This is what I've been saying. Like, listen, we all need to get into our intuitive selves and learn how to astral travel so that we can all travel the world for free. If you can just zip, zap, zap astral around in the 5D and then plop yourself back down in Greece or wherever you want to go, like, let's all learn to vacation in the astral realm, y'all, and we can all travel the world and have party times.
Right? Absolutely. Hold on. Raymond sent me something. Hold on. I'm sending it to you, Brian. Hold on.
We got some fun. Oh, I love that. I love to be able to close out a show with some silly fun times. What do we got rocking and rolling on over here?
This one's a good one.
I just
sent it to you, Brian.
Let's. I can't wait to see what this is.
And oddly enough, Raymond, if you're still watching, my work, we were at a meeting and we had a slight conversation on this. Oh, you sent it to Brian too? Okay.
Oh, like right.
We had a little conversation on just this topic, and we'll get into it when Brian pops it up. I don't have access, by the way, Brian. I'm on my account, so.
Oh, I love it. No, this is so fantastic. But tell me about it. Like, give us a little background while he's pulling it up. What's
okay? So you mentioned about a meme with butter and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, Raymond followed through. I must say that's a good one.
We appreciate follow through that happens within the episode in the live. Like, that's some real time awesome sauce right there. Way to go, GGH fam.
Let me see here. Let's see. I keep forgetting I can share. Here we go. There you go. I don't know if you have access to sharing it, Haley, or if Brian is. There it is.
Oh, what does that say?
Pour some butter
on me. Oh, yes. Oh, that makes me so happy. Let me tell you what, crab legs and lobster and butter are some of my favorites. That is some sexy sauce right there. I gotta have. We need, like, where is that animated movie for me? Please give me that. Like, I need the Sopranos version that is crustaceans under the sea so that I can see.
I think if we get a movie variation of this would be a whole new Zootopia. I mean,
this would be a whole new wiener party is what it would be. And guess what? We would have silly fun times. Brian John, how do we get this thing rolling too? Brian John, we're coming up with all kinds of ideas. This is what happens when you bring Matt to hang out with me. We just got nothing but wild, crazy ideas. And guess what? We're going to bring them all. We're going to bring them all into reality. I can't wait. I'm excited.
Yeah, there's a thing. And I think, Haley, you'll start to learn this, but Raymond, Aaron, and Brian all do the same thing. Whenever I've been known to say, I have an idea. If I say that to either something really good's about to happen or something really bad's about to happen.
Oh, well, listen, we'll find out. There's only one way to find out which one it is, and it's to try the idea. That's what it is. Oh, yes. Would tempt me to figure out how to make it. I tempt you. Raymond, you've been tempted.
Me and Raymond, we can't do projects together. We cannot.
Oh, man.
Bad things happen.
I dare you. Dare issue.
Raymond, I think we're getting called out.
You've been called out. Let's start this. We need
crap.
I love it. Well, listen, I know we're coming up on an hour and I do want to be like mindful of your time. So, hey, y'all, we appreciate you joining us. Do go check out globalghosthunt.com and you can sign up for the event October 17th through the 27th. You can have your own team and your own location, your own live investigation streamed on Parapost Network and all the support that Global Ghost Hunt team has for you. You've got Brian John, you've got Matt, you've got Glenda. We've got great people here to help and support you in investigating and finding whatever puzzle piece is most exciting for you to try to put together with all this fun. Do also check out our sponsors at healthempowersyou.net. Go get your 25% off with your promo code GGH25 for your PDF of 200 smoothie recipes, over 200 smoothie recipes. Go check that out. Matt, thank you so much for joining us. It's been great.
Thank you for having me. You're awesome, Haley. You're absolutely awesome.
Thank you. This has been super fun times. And thanks for watching, GGH fam. We will catch you next time.
Much love.